Smart Women's Environment Foundation, all the way from Uganda. So from the beginning of this webinar, we've had the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and now we are at the 7th episode. That's really amazing. And thank you for sticking with us from the first episode down to the 7th episode. We've been talking about a lot of issues around clean cooking. We started with policies, then we further moved to carbon markets. And today, for the purpose of today's discussion, we'll be having our panel discussions and presentations around the the health impact of cooking with clean cooking appliances. Of course, we are going to look at the benefits of using, we are going to compare rather the traditional method and the clean cooking method as well. And for the purpose of today's discussion, a minute, please. The aim of evolving landscapes of clean cooking and of course the emerging technologies across Africa. And this series aims to promote understanding, share and showcase innovation that foster collaboration among stakeholders involved in clean cooking initiatives. It further aims to contribute to cooking practices, thereby improving health outcomes and mitigating environmental impact. So for today, for this episode, we'll be having discussions around the health impacts of traditional cooking as opposed to clean cooking. So I'll quickly run through the agenda for today. We'll be starting with the welcome address and the introduction of panelists, then we'll proceed to the presentation. We'll also have 2 questions, panel discussion, question and answer session, and closing finality. So for today's webinar, we have this beautiful lady that is a clean energy advocate and is also committed to improving public health and environmental safety across Africa, Kensington Akpan. So she'll be taking us as the moderator for this session, and she has a wide range of experience and has contributed to projects around electric cooking, and she's going to bring a thoughtful and practical approach to this conversation. And she'll not be doing this alone. We have amazing panelists. We have this amazing woman, Sophia Emite Oka, and she's a policy coordinator for the Climate Parliament. She's a with over a decade of experience, and she has also been involved in initiatives around energy access across Africa. She has deep expertise in design, policy advocacy, stakeholder engagement, implementation, particularly in advancing sustainable solutions and transitions around the clean cooking sector in communities. She has also served in advisory and leadership roles across national initiatives, including renewable energy access, climate change projects, and capacity building efforts. She's very, very passionate about advocating for the scale-up of clean cooking technologies, and she has been recognized for this. We also have Nelson Beyima. Sorry if I didn't get that correctly. So Nelson is an environmental communications officer. He's also a communications officer at the Uganda National Alliance for Clean Cooking, and he leads nationwide campaigns for to promote adoption of clean cooking solutions. He also served as the communications coordinator at the Green Watch Uganda, and as well a board director at the Cook Stove Project. Nelson supports strategic outreach for initiatives that have successfully constructed over 31,000 clean cook stoves across Uganda, and his past work include lab and field performance testing of cook stoves for energy efficiency and emission, and he has been leading tree planting projects, plastic pollution campaigns, and wetland conservation efforts. He's also the founder of Greenland International. Another expert that we'll be having on this discussion, I'll be sharing insightful contributions to this topic. We have Hamadi Gambi, and he's the board director for Clean Cooking Sub-Sahara Africa. He's a renewable energy engineer based in Bamako, Mali, and he has expertise in mechanical engineering and sustainable development. He has fully led multi-million-dollar projects across Africa, including roles such as board member at Prime Technology South Sudan, board director at Clean Cooking Sub-Saharan Africa, and Africa Diamond Group. And he has been managing electrification and agro-processing projects worth up to $240 million. That's really impressive. And he has served as country manager at Covaltech Morocco, and of course, president of the African Railway Fund Congo. He combines strategic leadership with technical skills in AutoCAD, MATLAB, PVC, and more. He's passionate about expanding clean energy solutions across the continent. At this juncture, I'll be handing over to the moderator for today, Kenton Van Akman, to be steering the course of this conversation. So over to you. Back to you, Kenton.
Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, everybody, wherever you're joining in from. It's a beautiful afternoon here in Nigeria. Thank you, Ms. Uwem, for doing that for us. And welcome everybody once again to the 7th edition of the 51st Spark Clean Cook webinar. I don't know, Ms. Uwem, please, it's like you omitted one panelist. I don't know if you noticed that.
Sorry, I didn't get what you said.
You omitted one panelist, Mr. Joel Anwell.
Oh, sorry about that. I'll just go ahead to. So just learned that we have another panelist that's joining us on this episode rather, and he's Samijo Hanwell. He's a clean air advocate and a public health researcher dedicated to addressing links between the air quality, public health, and climate change. And he has expertise in environmental health and community engagement. He focuses on how air pollution, especially PM2.5 and black carbon impact vulnerable works promote clean energy, equitable environmental policies, and climate resilience through research, advocacy, and collaboration. Believes clean air is a human right and champions health-centered, data-driven solutions for environmental justice. Welcome, Joel, and thank you for joining in on this episode. Over to you, Kenzie.
Okay, so welcome everybody. Welcome all the panelists for finding time to join today for this 7th edition of the 51st Spark webinar. Today we'll be dealing with an issue that is bothering almost all of us: how we cook. How do we cook? Cooking is a daily routine that should be done with ease, but to some families, to some households, it's actually a silent risk that is affecting millions of households in Africa. So the use of the traditional method of cooking, firewood, charcoals, and even kerosene, the smokes we inhale, doesn't only affect the lungs, it goes way beyond that. It makes us sick. People are falling sick on it. It affects even the deforestation. It affects our forests. The deforestation is accelerating. Climate change is also accelerating. The productive time we waste going to gather this dirty fuels to use in cooking, and even the safety of our women while going to go and collect this dirty fuels to be used in cooking. It is something it's a big problem, sort of, to all of us. And the question is, can this story actually change? Yes, it can change because the technologies already exist. We have the electric cookers, we have improved biomass cook stove, we have even the solar powered cookers, and we even have the LPGs are all there. But are these technologies affordable? Are they accessible? Are they what the common man can actually reach out to? So these are what we're going to deal with today. It's beyond the theories and statistics of the academics. It's actually personal, and it's personal sort of because many of us grew up in these smoky kitchens. So we actually do know the first-hand impact of these smokes on our daily lives. And other than that, it's also practical because what do we do? What is hindering the adoption of these clean cooking technologies? What is stopping us, or what is stopping the average African homes from affording these clean cooking technologies? And it's something that ought to be treated as urgent, because it's the more we delay it, the more lives are affected on daily basis. So today we are all gathered here to explore how we can move from from awareness to actions, and from hardship to hope. And how do we make clean cooking not a luxury? How do we make clean cooking affordable to every household in them? For the purpose of this webinar, we are going to just narrow it down to the African continent. So my Barrister Wem has done me the honor of introducing all the distinguished panelists today, and we will not be doing this alone. We'll all be doing it with them, as they will bring in their expertise in the health sector, the energy sector, the environmental sector, and all walks of life, so that we could just tackle this issue and get the needed change we need, accelerate it, and see if it's going to be easy to be done, rather than talking about it. So I think in our midst, among the panelists today, we do have two of our panelists who will be doing us the honor of presenting: Mr. Hamadi and Mr. Nelson. But before then, I will want each of the panelists to say hi to our audience. So in no particular order, we will start with Mr. Hamadi, whose video is on. So Mr. Hamadi, please, would you be kind enough to say hi to the audience, please?
Morning, everyone. My name is Amadi Gambi. I'm engineer. I'm the board director of Clean Cooking Sub-Saharan, and we run this company 8 years ago in Senegal. I'm also president of Clean Cooking Association in Senegal. But it's great pleasure to be here today and discuss about clean cooking. Is some question I'm passionate about. Thank you very much.
That was very kind of you, Mr. Amadi, and thank you. So, Mr. Nelson, please, would you take turn?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Kilometers away from my office, promote in cooking, and I'm also an environmental scientist, and because of my passion for clean photography in Uganda, and now I specialize a lot in communication on clean cooking, a body that is responsible for bringing the government and development partners cooking. I'm very happy to be with you here, and I look forward to the discussions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nelson, and we're also glad to have you join us. So we will go to the only ladies among us, Miss Sophia Imite Uka. Please, I'm truly sorry if I didn't get that correctly. Please pardon me.
You got it well. I got it well. Thank you. Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sophia Imiti Uka. I'm based in Nigeria. It's a pleasure to be on this panel, and together we'll do justice to this very critical, topic that in fact, affects every one of us, both male, female, children. So thank you very much for the privilege and opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Uka, for also finding time to join us. The last in our list is Mr. Sammy Joel Panwell.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sami Joel Panwal. I'm a public health researcher, and most of my interest is working on to see how we are being able to understand the dual impact of air pollution on public health and climate change, and in particularly how the issues affects households in Nigeria and Africa entirely. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sami. All of you are welcome to the 7th edition of the 54th Spark Women, and thanks so very much for what you do behind the scene, and also being the frontliner in the clean cooking and also the clean energy sector. Thank you. So, Mr. Gambi, would you mind taking the floor for your presentation? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So,
Please, and I'm very sorry, Mr. Gambi. Just before we start, please, we have just 10 minutes for each presentation so that we'll have time to
Yeah,
tackle other activities on the agenda rather. Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. So, thank you very much to join us today and talking about the health impact of traditional cooking versus clean cooking. My name is Amadi Gambi. I'm delighted to present you today my presentation about the problem of using wood and charcoal on our preparation for our meal in Africa. So, in fact, we know traditional cooking practice is present in many households, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. And this is something we do it long time ago. So basically, people are using solid fuel, wood, and charcoal, and to do daily cooking. So the risk is very high. It's health risk when we smell the wood or charcoal air pollution. The pollution of wood and charcoal is definitely brings some disease on our health. It's impact our health more than that. So we have also the issue with environmental, that is the climate change when we cut the wood and other stuff we use as is solid fuel to prepare our meal. So I'm coming up to our second. The second is the impact of clean cooking on the health. Please change. Yeah. The reduction of respiratory disease. Clean cooking significantly reduces exposure to harmful pollution that can be lead to respiratory disease issues as asthma, chronic bronchitis, and lung infection. Traditional cooking method often produce smoke and toxic emission, which is detrimental to indoor air quality. Short-term effect is exposed to smoke can be cause immediately health issues such as eyes irritation, headache, and respiration infection. So the long-term effect is chronic exposure can lead serious health condition, including lung cancer, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and the heart disease. So most of our population in Africa is vulnerable. They don't have enough money to afford clean cooking equipment. Basically, that is something people are working on it to bring solution according to credit carbon and circular economy product like bioethanol and biogas to help people to afford clean cooking solution. Go ahead, please. So for using the clean cooking equipment is health benefits for all of us. It's definitely reduce some pollutants. So that's why some of program that exists to decrease the exposure of indoor air pollutants from all African country. So if your medical visited a report household adopting clean clean technology experience has notably reduced in a medical visit due to respiratory illness, especially among vulnerable groups like children and elderly. Enhance indoor air quality. Improving indoor air quality through clean cooking method can contribute to be better overall health and enhancing productivity and quality of life for household members. So we're coming up to the public health improvement for adopting clean cooking solution. We are addressing the health risks associated with traditional cooking practice can result in significant public health advancement benefit community at large. So the problem is now better now. So we're coming now for the solution. The solution for the clean cooking is they finally exist, and we know some of them is LPG, biogas, electric cooker. All that solution can be significantly reducing indoor air pollution. So in our field, we are believing now the clean cooking technology that will be adopting in the future in Africa is definitely electric cooker, and because it's bring more advantage than other technologies. So the benefit is to improve air quality and reduce health risk, time and fuel efficiency. So the time is also important when we prepare our meal. The global initiative is led by Clean Cooking Alliance that they bases in Washington in the USA. So and government is leading at the local in each country government. Also, we coming up to the challenge. The barrier to adoption is first of all the cost, because the people are investing some money at the advance. So we have lack of awareness, and we facing also with the culture practice that is using charcoal and wood for a long time. So we have to awareness these people to switch on clean cooking equipment. Oh, so the solution as exists. So I mentioned it so far is a credit carbon and circular economy product can be used for scale at large the clean cooking adoption in Africa. Go ahead, please. So I'm coming to the call to the action. So we know very well the problem, and all we are now accepting to educate ourselves and our community about the benefit of clean cooking, advocate for the adoption of clean cooking technology, invest in clean cooking initiatives, provide and create awareness campaign to promote health and safety, collaborate with local community to implement clean cooking solution and support research and health impact. Transitioning from traditional to clean cooking is crucial for improving health outcome and reduce the burden of disease. Together, we can make a difference in the life of millions by promoting clean cooking practice. Thank you very much. Okay, decrease greenhouse gas emission. So Definitely, this is the way it goes to switching to clean cooking practice significantly cut down greenhouse gas emission. Clean technology like solar, electrical, or advanced biomass result lower carbon footprints, thereby addressing climate change challenging and supporting global sustainability efforts. Conservation of natural resources can be benefit for adoption of clean cooking method, promoted the efficiency use of natural resources. They often require less fuel and energy, which help in conserving forests and reduce the depletion of non-renewable energy source, contributing to more sustainable future. So my conclusion was clean cooking is not enhancing health outcome by reducing disease risk and healthcare costs, but also play a crucial role in environmental protection through air quality improvement and resource conservation. So thank you very much. I would be happy to take a question if you have.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Hamadi, for that beautiful and brief presentation. It was worth listening to. Thank you for all the points you've highlighted. Thank you for telling us the scope for clean cooking in
You
Africa. So
welcome.
we will now call on Mr. Nelson. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your last name, so please, let's just do with Mr. Nelson. So please go ahead with his own presentation. Thank you.
I could teach you how to say it, called Bianyima. I'm going to switch on my video for like a minute, then I remove it because I'm really not in a very good spot to do this because I'm in the field. And then you can allow me to proceed without the video. So should I continue?
Please go ahead.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
I can hear you.
thank you so much. All right, so my name is Nelson Bianyima, and I'm a very passionate person about clean cooking. And I'm a founder and CEO of an organization that I founded in 2014 called Green Lens, and also a communications officer at Uganda National Alliance on Clean Cooking, a body that promotes clean cooking in Uganda. And we are supported by Ministry of Energy and other partners. Please go ahead. Can go to the next slide, please. Yeah, so I've been asked to present about the health impacts of traditional cooking versus clean cooking, and I'm going to bring in a global context where World Health Organization estimates about 2.1 billion people are still relying on polluting fuels like wood, charcoal, and animal dung. And when we look at the Ugandan context, we see that at least 90% of Ugandan households are still relying on traditional biomass fuels, which include firewood and charcoal. We have about 53% using charcoal, those live in semi-urban and urban areas, and whereas the rest use firewood and agricultural residues. So I'm going to be looking at the impacts of traditional cooking methods and the benefits of transitioning to clean cooking technologies for better health, environment, and economic outcomes. My friend, my colleague Gambi has given us a very good overview as well. Some information is more or less the same, but maybe I'll just do an emphasis of what has been said. We can move to the next slide. So the common fuels that are used globally, we are looking at, for example, firewood, firewood, charcoal, and crop residues. And also animal dung. In Uganda, the common ones called metallic sigiris. These ones are made with a metal sheet. They have no insulation around them, and they are normally used in rural and urban areas. These are stoves that cost about less than $1, and most people prefer those because of the high upfront cost of clean cooking technologies that we are going to discuss later on. Looking at health risks, we are looking at most people being affected by particulate matter, which is PM 2.5, and carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide has been responsible for killing most of the people in Uganda, especially those that are cooking in a poorly ventilated indoor kitchens or households. You find someone cooking in a small room of about 1 room and having them cooking with limited air supply. And across the globe, we've seen that at least 3.2 million deaths happen every year, resulting from traditional cooking methods. And this is according to World Health Organization. And the key health impacts, we are seeing that we have stroke, which kills about 1.2 million people globally. We have heart disease that result in 1 million deaths. This is because most women, when they are back or some of them cooking space, children normally die from pneumonia when they are aged under 5 years. We also have chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which kills about 400 people every year. And lung cancer kills about 20. It is the leading. Yes. Uganda alone, we see about household air pollution dying, especially those under 5 years, like I've already mentioned, and this is according to the Ministry of Health of Uganda. And the long-term health risks are no different from those that we've seen globally, which include respiratory diseases, which are mostly common among children and women, because these are the ones that are most exposed to cooking smoke. If we could move ahead. Yes, and we have seen that in Uganda, for example, 95% of the women, 95% of Ugandan households, we find that women are the ones that normally cook, and you find them spending at least 2 to 5 hours every day cooking with kitchens filled with smoke. And we have children, like we have already mentioned, they are the ones that are normally exposed, those ones under 5. And the smoke doesn't only affect their respiratory organs, but also it is also responsible for stunted growth, and that is according to World Health Organization. Additional risks, we are looking at low birth weight that has been recorded, and we are also looking at eye cataracts and asthma. The picture there you see, it's of a woman. If we could go back a bit, yeah, that picture is, those are eye cataracts. Maybe some of you who don't know about the cataracts, but I used to see these ones, and I think recently this has been reducing at least. So that's one of the causes of, that's one of the results of too much exposure to smoke. And we can't talk about health without talking about the environmental. And according in percent of their fuels, like charcoal and and this is a very big setback for them. And we find women spend about one
Mr. Nelson, are you there? I don't know if anybody can hear Mr. Nelson. I can't really hear him from my end.
Can't hear him from here too. I think he's out of the call. The device he was using to talk is out of the call.
Okay, and he had mentioned that he's in the field, so probably, I don't know, we should just stop and maybe when he joins in, we'll continue from there. But I was actually enjoying it. Oh, that's sad. He just dropped a message. I was enjoying his presentation because I had learned a lot and I had drafted out some questions I needed to ask him. Maybe when he joins in, I will do that because there are certainly things I really want more explanation on. So while we wait for Mr. Nelson to join in, we will take our poll session. Please, Engineer Anthony. Okay, 1 minute, please. Mr. Nelson just joined in. Mr. Nelson, can you hear us? Okay, let's go ahead with the poll session, please. Be kind enough to participate in the poll session. Please answer the questions. Just give us your opinion about it. It is being shared, so please go ahead to participate in the poll session, please. Thank you. Please join in the poll session. We have just, I think, a few minutes allocated to that. And the time is ticking, please.
Just
The responses are coming in. We have just 4 minutes allocated to it, and we've spent 2 and some fractions. So please just join in. Let's get it done and move on to another thing. Thank you.
Like I was saying, those that are using their phones to join in, if you look at where you have the 3 dots where more, just click on it. You'll see the poll. Just click on the poll. You'll see it and you respond to it. Thank you.
Okay, we are going to add additional 1 minute. We've exhausted the 4 minutes, so we are adding additional 1 minute. Please, if you haven't participated in the poll, join in. Let's get it done. We have just barely 30 seconds remaining. Thank you. The responses are great. Okay, thank you everybody for joining in, and thank you for responding to the poll. So we have a good number of responses, and the health issues, they believe most common from traditional cooking methods. Majority responded to respiratory problems, cough, asthma, pneumonia, and how much do you think household cooking contributes to deforestation? I will say from my end, I will actually say, if not 100, I will say 99.9. So I'm glad a great son responded to a great deal. We have the response is great. So please, thank you very much for doing this with us. So Mr. Anthony, please, you can end it. I think we have Mr. Nelson back on the call. Mr. Nelson, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I am. Thank you, sir, about earlier.
It's okay. We understand sometimes network have to show that he is the boss. So please, where you stopped, can you go ahead?
Thank you so much. I think we had reached about, the environmental challenge, which results from carbon emissions. And we've seen that traditional stores contribute significantly to climate change and air pollution. Let's run to the next slide such that we don't lose a lot of time. And let's look at clean cooking. I'm sure most of you have different ways that you define clean cooking, but I've defined it in this way, that it refers to the use of clean cooking technologies and fuels that minimize harmful emissions and improve efficiency. This is a very subjective definition because people also understand it in a different way, but at least as long as we are using technologies and fuels that minimize or produce minimum emissions, but also improve efficiency, cooking time, and all that, then we could at least say that someone is using clean cooking technologies. The clean cooking, the benefits include little or no exposure to harmful indoor smoke. And we also see that we get benefits in terms of reduced risk of pneumonia in children, heart disease, stroke, and respiratory illnesses. We have also seen that at least with clean cooking, we can also lower child mortality and disease rates. Other benefits include reducing time spent collecting fuel, improving women's health and economic opportunities. We also look at supporting environmental sustainability because it reduces deforestation and carbon emissions. We can continue. Yes, so let's look at what World Health Organization recommends. We've seen that World Health Organization at least recommends that PM levels should be below 25 micrograms cubic meter. And so a stove that someone is using, if for example, it's using firewood, it should not produce. And we have also seen that traditional cooking methods normally cook stoves, they should meet World Health Organization emission standards, and this can be effective in reducing health risks associated with cooking. Also, we need to have the governments integrating clean cooking solutions in
I think Mr. Nelson is off again. And with this, unfortunately, we have to stop the presentation here and move on to another activity on the agenda. Okay, thank you very much. And like I earlier said, I actually had questions I needed to ask Mr. Nelson, especially the Sigiri stove thing. I really wanted to know what the Sigiri stove looks like, or whether it's actually a crafted name from Uganda for it, or it is just a general name.
I'm very sorry. I think I really wanted to do this, but I failed. I'm in the field, and I think the internet is really terrible this side. So maybe you can share my presentation afterwards. I don't know how best we can do it. Yeah.
It's fine, Mr. Nelson. You didn't fail. We totally understand. It happens like that sometimes.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for the presentation. But a quick one, please, before you go, in case your network comes over and goes off again. So please, I wanted to ask, what's this Sigiri stove? What does it look like? Is it a crafted name from Uganda for it, or it's just a general name? I saw that on your
Sigiri?
presentation. Yes, Sigiri, something like that. Metal
Oh,
Sigiri.
yes. Sigiri is the local name for stove.
Okay, no problem. I think
Yes.
I'll do a little research on it because I really
Yeah.
want to know more
Yeah.
about
In
it.
Uganda, that's how we call them, the stoves, especially the traditional ones. They are called sigiri.
Okay,
I
beautiful.
can share
And
some
then
pictures later.
all right, no problem. Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. You found time to explain the health effects of this traditional cooking because I saw that it could cause asthma, it could cause pneumonia, complications in pregnancy, and I think the list is endless. So
Yeah.
it was a good presentation. Thank you. Then
Thank you so much for
about
having me.
now, all right, you're welcome. About now, we'll be moving on to the panel session. So firstly, please, you would want to turn on your camera, the panelists, so at least we could see your face and hear you speak. That would be of great importance to us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Sami. Mrs. Sophia, please, would you be kind enough to put on your camera? Okay, while we're waiting on Mrs. Sophia, Mr. Hamadi, please.
Yeah. Owen, tell me.
Okay, so we will be going into the question and answer session.
Yes.
And my question firstly will be directed to you, Mr. Sami Panwell, because of your expertise in the public health. So it's well noted that across African households, disproportionately, the women as a whole tend to be the one that suffer most from the effect of traditional cooking fuels. So, and it causes some of it. So we know that the health side is there, but away from the health side, this role, these traditional cooking methods plays in the life of these women. What happens when they go there to fetch this firewood to be used in cooking? Because down here in Nigeria, there was a particular time where a certain video was making rounds in the social media where a woman, I think it was particular to, it happened in Akwa Ibom, if I'm not mistaken, a certain woman went to collect firewood and in the process, she was attacked by the male gender in the farm and whatever happened. But luckily for her, she survived it. Nothing happened to her. She was able to, she struggled as a woman. The strength of a woman is nothing to be compared to the strength of a man. But she tried her best, she struggled and she was able to go home free. So this is one out of millions of women. She was able to speak up. I don't know who gave her the courage, but this doesn't have, there are some who are attacked and the shame and every other thing, they just quietly go back home. So what's in summary, what are the health risks? Let's list out the health risks and also away from health, the gender-based risk attributed to these traditional cooking methods. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. You have also given us some parts of the answers in your intro, of which we understand that from the other presenters who have spoken, the health risks are majorly around respiratory issues, and the rest of them. Eye irritation, which comes with cataracts, cardiovascular diseases, and the rest of them. So I'm coming to the gender aspect. The health issue is something that people are already aware of. And the health issues, I will say that is disproportionate, unequal, and lopsided among male and the female gender. That's another issue that we need to also pay more attention to. Because if you look at the time that women and children spend in the kitchen, in the traditional kitchen, let's look at it from the African perspective, where we have the traditional kitchens, where we use solid firewoods in the kitchen. You look at the aspect of cooking of food, boiling of water to bath, both for the husband to bath, both for the children to bath and to go to school. It is mostly done by the woman. If not by the woman, then by the children. So what does the man do? You look at it that the time for which the adult man is affected by the smoke, which we are looking at PM 2.5, which is my primary area of concern, because there are a lot of particulate matters. We have PM1, PM2, PM5, PM10, different types of particulate matters. Then we have different types of substances. But the basic ones that have higher rate of effect that affects the human health is the PM 2.5. The PM 2.5 have been reported in previous research to penetrate into the brain, to penetrate into an unborn child and cause issues like stillbirth, both stillbirth, low birth weight. You see that the baby is born and the weight of the baby is below the required level. Then you see PM 2.5 going into the bloodstream, causing cardiovascular diseases, causing different kinds of illnesses within an individual. Then coming back to the gender aspect, if you look at the gender aspect, and as I mentioned earlier, how disproportionate the issue is, going to collect the firewood is done by either the women or the children. Then the time they spend in going to collect the firewood is another economic time loss. Then the risks of exposure, just as the story that you gave, is high. It's not only about, maybe we look at it like either rape, the cases of rape are there both on farm, maybe during collection of firewoods and other activities that are done. Then you also look at other aspects of risks on the field, just purposely by exposing herself as the woman to go and fetch the firewood. If it is the man who is on the field, there should be some kind of resistance. But since it is the woman, there is this vulnerability that comes with being a woman on the field. So honestly, it's a very huge risk in that aspect. So that's the few things I would like to say. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Mr. Sammy. You've actually given us a huge insight about the risk aspect concerning towards the women. Mrs. Sophia, as a woman, I would want to actually, sorry, I should have directed that question directly to you, but I wanted to hear the male gender perspective first before I get to you as the woman. I feel you will be more, you will be able to like give us a clear insight, because as a woman, even if you may not have directly been involved in this, but at least we all come from a village. So certainly there are people around us, surrounding us, who have had one or two experiences about it. So please, can you do more justice to this? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mfon, and thank you very much to all the panelists for your presentations and your thoughtful conversations. Clean cooking, the use of traditional methods of cooking, it's actually has been brought to the light as a result of a lot of campaign and awareness that has happened over the years. You know, growing up as a young lady, like you rightly said, a lot of us in Africa, we are deeply rooted to our villages and our communities. And we grew up seeing, our grandparents cooking, for large families with firewood and the rest of the crude sources of energy. And, growing up as a young lady, I noticed my mom preferred to use kerosene stove to cook. And when I got enlightened, when I entered university and I got enlightened about clean cooking and all that, I asked my mom one day that why do you still prefer to use kerosene to cook and why not cooking gas, even though we have a cylinder in the house? And then she mentioned that my dad saw a neighbor using counterfeit LPG with counterfeit cylinder, and they had an accident in their home that caused fire. And ever since then, he was traumatized by that incident, and he refused my mom from cooking with LPG. So now this brings us to another aspect of the clean cooking sector. How do we regularize, the technology in the clean cooking sector? Yes, a lot of people are beginning to transition. We have seen a lot of policies come up. We've seen the Nigerian clean cooking policy being developed and implemented, of which I was opportunity to be a part of the team that drafted and developed the clean cooking policy in Nigeria, which is already being implemented by the Federal Executive Council. And so we've seen policies like that take effect. We've seen a lot of initiatives by governmental and non-governmental organizations trying to push the clean energy narrative. But then we need to standardize these equipment. We need to regularize the equipment importation, even the production in Nigeria, to ensure that we get, put in or ensure that the right equipment go into the market, standardized equipment that would not cause or pose any harm or risk of explosion, to users. So these are things that we have to also look into. And then going back to how this affects a woman, like I also explained as regards my mom in particular. So when I got to adulthood, I was able to convince my mom and I told her, no, you can't keep using kerosene. Life has gone beyond kerosene. Now there are methods in which standards and safety practices we can put in place to ensure that, using of LPG to cook does not pose any risk to you and to the household. And today, I was able to transition my mom from using traditional sources of cooking to clean energy. I think that's one major thing I would say I have done in the clean cooking industry, not just affecting others, but starting from my own home. And so, yes, thank you. Women cooking with firewood and all that, we're looking at the economic impact on these women, how long they have to stay cooking, using firewood, using charcoal to cook. It impacts them economically. Now we see a lot of women thriving in their careers, thriving in things they have passion for, because they now have ample time to concentrate on these things. Before now, they have to go fetch firewood, prepare the space, put things together, and then it takes longer time for them to cook. But now they spend less time cooking. You want to cook, for instance, a pot of beans. If you use the right gadgets, it takes you 30 minutes about that to cook your beans, and then you are done. You have time to engage in other profitable and economic activities. So this is one thing that clean cooking have done for women, not just in Nigeria, but globally. It has enhanced the economic ability of women, to participate in other national and very other productive and important things. So that's one thing, increased productivity for women. Women can now go to school. In those days, you see ladies, young girls helping their mothers carry firewood. I remember those days growing up. You see young girls very early, they wake up in the morning because they have to go fetch firewood. And then they go late to school. And like someone mentioned, they get attacked, several negative things happen to them. But all this has been eradicated. And we have to also come down to, aside the economic impact, the health impact on these women. We see a lot of women having good health now. All these are all tied together, as a result of clean cooking. They cook clean now, their health are better, so they can work. When a woman is healthy, she can fend for her family, she can fend for herself, she can make an impact in her society, in her community, in her faith work. So these are things that, clean cooking. I tell people all the time that clean cooking is not just about SDG 7, SDG 13. It's cut across the whole SDGs. If you want to talk about poverty reduction, clean cooking is number one. You want to talk about infrastructure, clean cooking is there. Access to education, clean cooking provides all of these things. So yes, gender, obviously, most especially the women and children are mostly negatively impacted by the use of traditional methods of cooking. And so thank God for the transitioning that's been happening, not just in Nigeria, not just in communities, but on the global level. So this has also enabled and alleviated women out of poverty. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mrs. Sophia. There is no need me pushing what I actually do know that this is somebody's field, and I know that she's going to give me every details that I wanted. I'm moving to another person. Actually, like I earlier said, I actually wanted to hear the male perspective first, and you've done justice to it. Thank you. So we've actually looked at the health aspect of it, and we've also looked at the gender aspect of it. So let's now venture a little into the environmental aspect of it. Beyond homes and beyond homes, how does these traditional cooking fuels like firewood and charcoals affect the environment and contribute to deforestation? Mr. Hamadi, please, would you be kind enough to turn on your camera and take that question, please? Mr. Hamadi, are you with us? Okay, it's like Mr. Hamadi is not here. Mr. Nelson, please, would you mind? Thank you.
Hello, I'm still here with you. Thank you. I'm going to talk about how, for example, the traditional cooking, especially with fuels like charcoal and firewood, has really affected us in Uganda. We've already looked at, for example, losing over 24% of forest in Uganda due to deforestation. And this is mainly because people are cutting this for firewood and for charcoal as well. Recently, the president of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, gave a directive to stop the commercial production of charcoal in Uganda. And when he did that, of course, it put a lot of pressure on those people that were already using charcoal for cooking. But also, it was a very good move for us, people who are interested in clean cooking and also promoting environmental conservation, because this is a very good move. We've seen traditional cooking, especially using firewood, producing a lot of carbon dioxide emissions or carbon emissions, because I think I may not have stats off my head, but globally we have also seen that cooking with for example, firewood contributes a lot of emissions that go to affect our climate. We believe that with green cooking, we can be able to reduce this impact. For example, in Uganda, most people are now switching to LPG. The government came up with a program where they are going to give at least 1 million households cylinders of LPG, such that they can reduce the cost of upfront cost of accessing LPG. We have seen projects coming into the country to cut the upfront costs of improved cook stoves, especially the e-cooking. We have a project being implemented by UKMX. I don't know whether you're familiar with UKMX. Yes, UKMX is working with UKAID, a National Renewable Energy Platform, and Uganda National Alliance on Clean Cooking to promote electric cooking. And we've realized that at least some people are really embracing the change, and this will help us reduce on the pressure coming from from cooking with traditional fuels. We've seen projects coming into the country to reduce the upfront cost on, for example, pressure cookers. We have, sorry about my background noise. We have had a project, for example, the result-based financing projects. I don't know whether you have those in your country. At least these have come in to reduce the upfront cost of pressure cookers, looking at about 50% reduction in prices. So we believe that with clean cooking, we can be able to reverse the issue of environmental. We have also tried to teach the communities now to plant trees for fuel. We have projects here in Uganda that are already doing that for the communities. They come and plant trees that are fast growing. For example, we are also trying to investigate how bamboo can also be used as an alternative fuel, because it is a fast growing tree species. And we hope that with also efforts on growing fast growing, on planting fast growing trees, can also reduce the impact for the communities that are not yet ready to switch to electricity cooking. Because when you look at Uganda, for example, we have only about 22% connected to the main grid, and the rest, about 27 are connected using solar. So it is still a challenge to switch to electricity, but we believe that with all these efforts, the impact of traditional cooking can be reversed. Thank you so much. I submit.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nelson. That was quite insightful. Okay, so we have established that traditional method of cooking pose a risk to our health, a threat to our environment, and when people are sick, and when the forests are gone, and the productive hours wasted by these women who are majorly the people who go to collect this firewood. When all of that happened, well, how does that affect our economy? How does all of these intertwining issues slow down the development and the economy of the African continent as a whole? Mr. Hamadi, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Owen. So we have to come back, because Africa, we are using the wood as a first fuel to cooking our meal. So particularly in this 5-6 years ago, we see in Sahel country, Sahel country is some of West Africa country, they don't have even wood or charcoal to do to prepare the meal. So this is some of the problem we need to observe and to see how to overcome in the future, because we know, in fact, it will be not affect all Africa, but some of African country will facing on lack of access on basically wood and charcoal because of climate change. Solution, we have some of also the intermittent fuel like LPG, They have LNG that is coming up to replace this type of fuel. Also, we see in UK that is they plan to blending hydrogen on gas system to prepare the meal to replace LPG. So that is some of solution we need to figure out and how to implement all this technology. So the more improved is now is the electric cooker, and we have in many countries in Africa the access to solar, and how to connect solar to electric cooker. That is some of the challenge now Africa need to overcome also, and to improve access. So if I talk about access, I know is the access in Africa is unfair. So the urban area have money to afford clean cooking technology. So basically, the rural and semi-urban don't have enough money. So we need to help them how that can be maybe to use credit carbon. So we need to see how to collaborate with other sector that can invest in access for this particular area, rural area, to be to afford clean cooking stove. So we see African Development Bank announced they will have program in Africa, but that is something they talk about a few years ago. We didn't see any result. So as an individual, we need to come with individual solution for each country. So I think we need to see how to fund clean cooking program in Africa. This is also one of the challenge most of SME facing. So use of grain and other in clean cooking area. So it's definitely affect our population that is have any other choice to use charcoal and wood to prepare their meal. So we need to come together now and to think about a solution. The solution exists, and we of the clean cook they finally convince on two field of technology that is equal your role to replace LPG and LNG in the future.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hamadi. That was kind of you. So we have started the fact that traditional cooking methods affect our health, affect our environment, and even affect our future. So let's shift our focus a bit from the problems and to the solution. The clean cooking solutions, do they actually exist? Yes, they do exist. So my question now would be, once a family transition from traditional cooking methods to actually the clean cooking methods, I think the impact should almost be immediate. I don't know if I'm correct about that, but I feel the coughing should reduce, the itchiness of the eye should reduce, a whole lot should just reduce, if not immediately, but subsequently, and that shouldn't really take long. So my question now is, what are the most important health benefits families will actually experience after switching to this clean cooking methods. And that question will actually go to Mr. Sami as our health personnel amongst the panelists. Thank you, Mr. Sami, please.
All right. Yeah, sure. Once we're able to move from those methods of cooking to clean cooking, we should be able to expect that the exposure to PM 2.5, carbon monoxide, and other substances will reduce. And once it reduces, that means that we should expect healthy living. We should be able to expect that this reduction in PM 2.5 exposure and the rest of them will lead to fewer cases of respiratory, cardiovascular, and other ailments that are related to exposure to these sources of cooking methods. In addition, families also will be able to experience better maternal and child outcomes with fewer medical expenses and improved quality of life. These are the things that we should be able to expect. And we spoke earlier about these issues of gender-based exposure to gender risks and the rest of them. These issues should also be lower, away from the health issues. Because now, instead of going to fetch firewood, we're using cleaner energy sources, which is the new technologies in cooking. So there should be no exposure to that aspect. And then, as I mentioned earlier, outcomes of health among mothers, the girl child, and other children should be able to improve. So these are the kinds of improvement we'll have. We'll also have a better workforce, which will also have a better productivity in the society. Economic situations, socioeconomic situations will also improve. And even the financial status of a woman or our children who are involved in these situations, who may have wasted their time of instead of going to fetch firewood, that time will also be reversed, will be reduced for other economic benefits, for education and for other purposes. Because I've seen a study that have spoke about the economic time that is wasted by a girl child in fetching firewood along with the mother instead of going to school. And we already know that this subject matter that we're discussing, in fact, there is what we call energy poverty. The using of solid fuels and the rest of them are also another version of energy poverty. So by the time that we have moved from these sources of energy to cleaner sources of energy, this aspect of poverty is gone. So there should be better economic and health outcomes. Thank you very much. I can't hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Sami.
And sorry, I was
Very good. You've given us the insights right from health. You've given us the insights starting from health and also gender-based and every other thing that we need to know concerning the benefits of transitioning into clean cooking solutions. So now, if we've all seen these benefits of transitioning into clean cooking solutions, what is actually hindering this transition? What are the barriers? What is hindering? What are the biggest challenges in preventing people from switching from this traditional cooking to clean cooking? Is this something that we can address, or it is something that is not something that we can tackle? So please, Ms. Sophia, you wouldn't mind taking that for us, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anton. Okay, thank you. So for Nigeria in particular, I've been opportune to carry out some studies as well as regards to the barriers to the adoption of clean cooking technology in Nigeria. And the major barrier we discovered was the cost and affordability of these clean cooking solutions, especially for the rural populace. You know, for you to get a cylinder of LPG now, it costs some thousands, you know, coupled with the stove and then consistent refill, you know, of LPG, for instance. And so a lot of the people in the rural communities seemingly cannot afford the upfront cost. Yes, people in urban, peri-urban can afford this because of course, increased economic capacity. But especially for those in the rural populace, they really cannot afford the initial cost of investing in clean cooking technology. And then secondly is limited awareness. A lot of people are still not aware of the efficacy of clean cooking technologies. You know, the benefits, the health benefits. Some people still, you know, insist on the fact that cooking with firewood is far more sweeter than cooking with LPG or any other clean source of cooking because of their level of awareness. And then cultural preferences also come into play. You know, there are some cultures that would insist that you must cook with a 3-stone firewood stove. You know, if you have an occasion, you cannot cook with LPG, you must use firewood to cook because they feel that, you know, cooking with LPG will not bring out the taste of the food. You know, that's cultural mentality. So we have to also break the cultural barrier that exists. And then also in some rural communities, we still find out that we have very weak supply chain. They still do not have access to LPG, even if they have the ability, the financial capacity to, you know, pay for it. We do not have distributors of LPG fuel in these communities. We do not have a good network, a good distribution network in this community. So we have weak supply chains of LPG clean cooking fuel and stoves in some of these rural communities. So all of these, you know, pose barriers, you know, to the adoption of clean cooking in some communities, because what's applicable to one community is not applicable to another. A community can be faced with a challenge of weak supply chain, no low distributors network. Another community might be posed with the challenge of cultural preference. So every community would be addressed based on their peculiar challenges. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, Mrs. Sophia, thank you very kindly for that.
Yes.
That was very explicit. So that will bring me to my next question.
Thank you,
And
Sophia.
this should be going to Mr. Nelson.
If you don't mind, I need to add. Yeah, if you don't mind,
I'm sorry,
I
I'm
need
actually
to add
struggling to hear
something.
you. I didn't hear that, please.
Okay, someone's hand
Yes.
is okay. Someone is talking
Okay,
and
so
Oh.
actually, Mr. Olayinka Opeke, please, your hand is up. And if you have any question, please be kind enough to drop in the chat box. We will address it from there. Thank you.
Okay, can I go?
Mr. Hamadi, let's take this question with you, and let's take it. Let's actually look at it from the Uganda perspective. Sophia has actually highlighted the problem or the barriers facing the transitioning from traditional cooking to the clean cooking solutions here in Nigeria. If this is applicable to Uganda as well, would you mind telling us what can the key stakeholders do to eradicate these challenges, to make clear or make a safe space for transitioning from these traditional cooking methods to the clean cooking solutions? Thank you.
Yeah, Sophia has give an excellent speech of the challenge. So for my side, I need only to add it maybe more awareness, and because most people in Africa, they maybe particularly in the rural area, they don't have more knowledge on the challenge they have on health impact for cooking with wood and charcoal. So we also see some of challenge in Africa, that is a lack of policy. For example, we see in some of area they have a brand recognized stove to be distributed with a label that is recognized by a alliance of clean cook stove locally. They build a brand that is that is coming with awareness to teach people how to use it and how it impact to improve their life economically and to improve also their health in to using a clean cooking in Africa. Owen, the question I see on the chat.
Mr. Hamadi, are you there?
Yeah. No, I'm asking about the question I see on the chat now from Olayanka Opeke. So am I right?
Yes, you're right. It's not a question though, it's just the comments. What we do in Nigeria and how I can also shed a bit more light into the conversation.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Yinka Opeke.
Okay, Olayinka, you have 2 minutes.
I'm sorry?
The floor is yours, Olayinka. You have 2 minutes to that. Thank you.
Okay, so we also operate in the downstream gas sector in Nigeria, and we do a lot of interventions at the grassroots. And just like the speakers that correctly mentioned, the major barrier for a lot of all these grassroots families and households is the initial cost of the cylinder. So the way we have been able to support these communities is by collaborating with the local government, the state government, the federal government, and organized private sector, by identifying those of them who within their CSR, they are looking at things around SDG 7 and 13 that aligns with issues around access to modern and clean, affordable energy and impacts of climate change. So we go and meet a local government chairman, we sell the idea to them, and they like it, and they decide and say, okay, we're going to do 1,000 cylinders for this community. We now go into the communities, we identify those of them who are using firewood, kerosene, and charcoal. And then we take their details, for the data, we get the cylinders, and we go and do the advocacy. The second barrier for a lot of them is just habits because they're used to it. That's what they're born into. I was born using firewood, and just like Mr. Sami said, when you look at the time poverty in terms of going to the forest to get the firewood to when they get to town, it's between 3 to 5 hours. And that time can be used for something meaningful. So what has helped us in our company is how we continue to explore all these partners. And then we also have a gas subsidy program that we run via a card whereby we give it to these communities so that they subsidize the prices of the gas. So a company can say that I'll subsidize for 1,000 people, I'll give them 10,000 naira per month for the next 6 months. So it just depends on how we pitch it. So we kind of like just pitch products to companies, and you'll be shocked at quite a number of them wanting to do it because a lot of them now even have requirements to meet their sustainability quota on a yearly basis. So those are my comments. Thank you.
All right, Miss, I don't know, Olayinka, thank you for that. Okay, back to the conversation. I think we've actually spent a whole lot of time, and in just a few minutes remaining, I would want to ask if we've actually dealt with the health impact of the traditional cooking methods. We've seen the benefits of transitioning into the clean cooking method. We've also dealt with the issues or the barriers hindering this transition. So we've also looked at what the key stakeholders could do to help in transitioning and making it fast enough, because to me, I feel clean cooking shouldn't actually be a luxury. It should be a basic need that every African homes should they have access to. So I believe the government, the NGO, the private sector, they all have a key role to play in the helping us to transition, and not only transitioning faster, because the more we waste time, the more lives are lost, the more our agricultural lands are becoming less fertile, the more even our future is I wouldn't want to say jeopardized, but sort of, because the time these women spend, the productive time they spend collecting this firewood would have been used to maybe build up a small scale business, or even the girl child who comes back from school without resting has to go hustle for this firewood, come back home, because at the end of the day, they ought to be food in the tummy. And even after looking away from the safety, comes back home and safe, and still have to go through inhaling the smoke that comes from the smoky kitchen. I don't think it's something we should experience. It should be an African home where a woman is able to, much as Sophia said, a woman is able to put a pot of beans in fire and still go about doing other things at home without inhaling smoke, without going through the hassle of having to go back and check if the fire is still burning and all that. So if we have just one word, this goes to all the panelists, if we have just one word to the stakeholders, what will we say in order to make a swift change towards this transitioning from traditional cooking methods to clean cooking methods? Mr. Sami, please, you go first.
Okay, what I want to say is that clean cooking is a gateway to achieving public health, environmental sustainability, gender equality, and economic growth. This is the few words I'll be able to say, because it deserves the same urgency and investment that we need to do for development to thrive, unless we are able to work to make sure that access to clean cooking is being achieved. Clean cooking is a major development challenge. If we're able to achieve it, the issues around socioeconomic issues within the family level, a lot of them will be solved. So clean cooking is a gateway for health, environmental sustainability, and national development. Thank you.
All right, thank you so very much, Mr. Sami. Please, Mrs. Sophia.
Thank you very much, and thank you once again to all the panelists and to the moderator on phone. Okay, my last word will be public and private sector collaboration. You know, we need a collaboration, we need a synergy between both the public sector and the private sector to be able to transition effectively to clean cooking. You know, the public sector brings in the right policy, the right investment climate, for investors to want to invest in a clean cooking sector. They ensure that we have an enabling environment. While the private sector brings in the innovation, they bring in research, and they bring profitability and sustainability to the clean cooking ecosystem. So what I want to admonish us is for us to strive for more public and private sector collaboration. Thank you.
All right. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Sophia. Public and private sector collaboration. That was huge. That was good. So, Mr. Hamadi Gambi, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Owen. So my last word is we try pushing and we double our effort to improve life of people. That is to bring more awareness for the household, to bring more technology. Also, I'm joining Sophia. That is to encourage government and private sector to work together with policy, with technology, and to support household to access more, to have more access on clean cooking technology. And I believe in NALF that will be happen very soon in Africa. Thank you very much.
Okay. It's been, thank you, Mr. Gambi. It's been quite an insightful discussion. I don't know how to thank you enough, but a sincere, heartfelt thank you to you, Mrs. Sophia Imiti Ukam. Thank you for your insights. They were quite incredible. Thank you, Mr. Gambi. And thank you, Mr. Nelson. Unfortunately, he couldn't stay till the end.
I'm here.
And
I'm
also
still
thank
here.
you, Mrs. Sam. Oh, really? I'm sorry, I didn't know. Okay, just would you take rounds with the last question, please?
Yeah, please let me maybe give my final submission. I wish to thank you for having me. I wish to thank all the panelists and Tovero Energy for hosting us and your partners, including Swedo from Uganda. I want to say that we need to continue using our platforms to advocate for clean cooking, because clean cooking is the backbone of our economy. It is something that can elevate our people from poverty. We need to continue engaging different stakeholders, including the government, including the cultural leaders, including the public figures, the creatives. For example, if Nigeria's entertainment industry decided to take on clean cooking into their entertainment, trust me, by the end of in 2 years or 1 year, you'd see Africa at least 50% transition in clean cooking, because we need everyone to be involved. Otherwise, I thank you for having us, and I hope to always join you all the time. And thank you for this initiative. I submit.
Thank you very much once again, Mr. Nelson. And thank you all the panelists for finding time out of your busy schedule to do this with us. It was great having each and every one of you here to share your insights, your expertise, and all-round knowledge about the health impact of traditional cooking methods and versus the clean cooking methods. It was very kind of you, because if not for anything, at least I have learned a whole lot. So thank you so very much, and thank you, the panelists, for finding time to join in and do this with us. So right about now, we'll be sharing the, Miss Barrister Uwem, I will be handing over to her to continue Thank you.
I don't think Barrister Owen is currently with us.
Sorry about that. I didn't know I was muted. So thank you everyone for staying put up until now. We started since 12 and everyone is still here. Thank you so much to the panelists. Thank you to our partners. While we were ongoing, some of our partners joined in. We had Maria Kida from the Smart Women Energy Foundation, all the way from Uganda. We also had Patrick Kamara representing the Energy Nexus Network from Sierra Leone. And I must say that the conversation was really enriching. We looked at the health impact of traditional cooking as opposed to cooking with clean cooking technologies. We looked at the challenges, of course, the barriers, the solution, and the way forward. And one thing that really got me is the aspect of public-private partnership, because I mean, scaling clean cooking, ensuring that clean cooking is being adopted it's more of a collective approach rather than a one-man show. So during the course of this presentation, of this webinar rather, we usually share opportunities, because it would be one thing to talk about clean cooking adoption, talk about the health impacts, to compare both, and then we don't share opportunities where people get to know that, oh, there's funding for this if you want to carry out a project around upscaling clean cooking, that there is opportunity for funding. So we'd move down to the opportunities corner, where we'll be sharing opportunities around the clean cooking sector. On this call, I believe that we have people in the private sector, we have the CSOs as well, and we will definitely be looking out for opportunities around this. So for this year, 2025, we have an opportunity around decarbonizing humanitarian energy, and the deadline for this opportunity is 31st December 2025. We still have a lot of time to factor this into whatever you have to do. Then it's been spearheaded by UNITA, and it is a funding/partnership opportunity which applies to Nigeria and Niger. And you can get more information following this link. So we also have the West African Clean Cooking Fund, and this fund is being sponsored by the Waddington Companies Foundation, and the deadline is 31st December 2025. It's a funding opportunity, and it applies to all countries in West Africa. So if you're in Nigeria, you're in Ghana, you're in Sierra Leone, it applies to you, and every other West African country. Of course, for more information, visit the link there for more information. And finally, we have the guarantees for renewable energy investment. The deadline is also on the 31st of December 2025, and it's being founded by the Norwegian Agency for Public and Financial Management. It is a funding opportunity, and it applies to ODA funding eligible countries. So you can also visit the link as well for more information. So for our upcoming activities, we have this conference that is being organized by Tobero Energy Limited. So Tobero Energy Limited is the host of this webinar, and we offer a wide range of services. We are into the productive use of renewable energy. We are into clean cooking, and by the grace of God, we have been able to carry out e-cooking market readiness for Nigeria and Sierra Leone. We're commissioned by MEX to do that, and of course, an electric cookbook to promote the use of electric cooking technologies for preparing our local meals. And if you check the Modern Energy Services cooking, Modern Energy Cooking Services website, rather, you would see our e-cookbook report. It is there. For the market readiness assessment for Nigeria and Sierra Leone, it is yet to be published, but we have carried that out as well. And we have this conference called the Africa International Conference on Clean Energy and Energy Storage. So it's part of our energy education and advocacy initiatives, and we will be having the 3rd edition this year. For more information, you can check the chat box and also our website. I have dropped the flyer there for more information, and you can visit ices.com for additional or further information, or better still, reach out to us. So for this conference, we welcome research persons, we welcome PhD students, experts in the clean energy sector, those that have papers, they have research that they want to send in. We are open to receiving research papers, and the deadline for receiving the research papers is 31st of May this month. And the conference is going to hold at the University of Port Harcourt, Nigeria. It's taking place on 26th and 27th of September this year. And we welcome research papers from waste to energy, clean cooking, clean mobility, mini grids development, and any research paper around even climate finance. We welcome papers from that area to anything that concerns clean energy and energy storage. We welcome papers from that angle as well. And of course, we have the 8th episode of 54 Sparks. We are about concluding the 7th episode, where we looked at the health impact of traditional cooking solutions as opposed to clean cooking solutions. So for the next episode, we'll be looking at addressing environmental degradation through sustainable cooking solutions. So we look forward to have each and every one of us here at the 8th episode. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And of course, we'll give you nothing short of premium value as you join us. So we'd move to talk about the Cook Clean Advocate. So the Cook Clean Advocate is one of our initiatives to encourage people that have been advocating for clean cooking, those that have been maybe carrying out awareness or doing one or two things to promote e-cooking. So we have this initiative we call the Cooking Advocate, and for you to become a Cooking Advocate, we have just 5 requirements, very simple requirements. You need to have a basic understanding of SDG 7. You need to be passionate about clean cooking and committed to advocating for sustainable clean cooking solutions, and you must have attended at least 5 editions of the 54 Sparks webinar. So if you've attended at least 5 editions, then you've ticked this particular requirement, and you must be available for trainings. Of course, it will be virtual for everyone to join in, irrespective of their location, and you would complete the Cook Clean Advocate training module. And finally, you must commit to carrying out at least 1 clean cooking awareness activity in your community. So eligible applicants will have the opportunity to be selected for mentorship, networking, and funding opportunities in the clean cooking sector. So if I were you, I would grab this opportunity to become a frontliner in Africa's clean cooking journey. So thank you once again for staying put. I believe if anyone had a question or a contribution, that has already been taken during the question and answer session. So thank you to our amazing panelists. Thank you, Mrs. Sophia Imite-Uka. Thank you for joining in. Thank you, Hamadi and Nelson. Nelson, despite your tight schedule and the fact that you are on the field, you accepted to join in. Thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you, Sammy Panwell. Thank you. You came in at the last minute, but you still did justice to the topic. Thank you for staying with us up until now. Thank you to our partners.
Thank
Also,
you for having
to
us.
Ray.
Bye.
Thank you, and thank you very much,
Thank you,
Anthony. Thank you.
thank you, Grant
Thank-
Anthony Foundation. So at this point, would say bye-bye and see you at the next episode.